Hello and welcome to the first solo episode of the Awakened Feminine podcast. I'm your host, KaKi Lee, and I'm super excited for this first solo episode. And what I want to talk about today is New Year's resolutions and the whole thing around the new year, new me mantra, term, phenomena, whatever you want to call it. And I know it's already day 15 of 2021, but I think it's actually a great time to check in. So, for those of you who did or do have a New Year's resolution, let's check in. Actually, did you set a New Year's resolution? And if you did, have you started? Or have you stopped already? Or are you losing motivation? Or are you still all gun ho and just smashing it out like you were from day one? Wherever you are on that scale is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with you, and you are exactly where you're meant to be. So, what I want to talk about is my issue with this whole new year, new me, and New Year's resolutions. So, for me, I used to be one of those people that would say, New Year, new me, New Year, new me. And now I think about it and I cringe a little. And the reason for this is since I started doing a lot of inner work, um, I've realized that the issue I have with the New Year, New Me mantra, term, phenomena is that it's the underlying, what's the word for it? The underlying tone is that there's something wrong with you, okay? You need a new you in the new year because the old you was broken. And I want to tell you that you aren't broken. You are you and you are enough. The new year, new me term just says that you are not enough. That's why you need a new you to replace the old you. When really it's your actions and your behaviors or your environment that needs adjusting to really allow you to step into another version of you that you want to be, right? Think about it that way. Because whenever you think that you're not enough, you won't achieve your goals because you don't think you're good enough to achieve your goals. You don't think you're good enough to dream big or deserve more. So it's really important to get rid of that new year, new me bullshit because it just doesn't serve you. It subconsciously programs you to think that you're not good enough, right? And the whole New Year's resolutions is more like a promise. So it's like, I promise that I will eat healthier this year. I promise myself that I will lose weight this year. Whereas goals are more like, okay, this is where I want to get to. And then when you have a goal, most of the time, most people, if they are goal setting or goal planning properly, then you would have a kind of like a plan of attack of how you'll get to the goal. Whereas most of the time with New Year's resolutions, it's more like, I will do this, but then there isn't a big plan around it. And maybe you did join the gym, but then you didn't actually say how many times you go to the gym, right? Or what you're going to go do at the gym, okay? So that's my issue around the New Year, New Me and New Year's resolutions, okay? But if that is what resonates with you, good, but that is my take on it. And, I hope that it can give you a different perspective of maybe why you're not achieving your New Year's resolutions. So, the other thing I want to talk about is why New Year's resolutions don't work, okay? Or a goal without a plan doesn't work. So, they're still tied together. So, there are three main reasons that I've come up with when your New Year's resolutions don't happen or your goals don't happen. The first one is being that there's no plan. You're just like, I'm going to lose weight. Silence. What are you going to do to lose weight? Are you going to eat healthier? Are you going to exercise? Are you going to starve yourself? Are you going to intermittent fasting? What is it that you're going to do, right? And if you're doing intermittent fasting, for example, how many days a week are you doing it? Are you doing it every day? There's all these things that you need to have a plan for and answer before you can take action towards your goals, right? And you can have maybe even just one action, but that one action is important because that will then set off the next action and the next action. So you need to start off with some sort of plan, even if it's just one action, that is a plan. And you can slowly, build your plan as needed if that's how you want to work. But first of all, you need some sort of rough plan, right? So that's the first reason why your New Year's resolutions aren't happening or your goals aren't happening. You're not achieving your goals. The second reason that I come up with is that you went cold turkey. Okay, and what I mean by cold turkey is like you had this belief that when the clock struck midnight and we went into 2021 that you became a new me. And sorry to tell you, but you didn't. You are the same person that you were like the minute before it struck midnight. Okay. And so people might go, okay, new year, new me. I am going to wake up at 4 a.m. and go for a 1 hour jog every morning. But you've always woke up at 7 and you'll wake up, lie in bed, look at your social media, watch a few YouTube videos before you roll out of bed, and you don't usually really exercise, and if you do exercise, it might be very sporadic, right? So your New Year's resolution or your goal of waking up at 4 and jogging for an hour each day is going to put your body into shock, okay? So maybe on day 1, you are like, yeah, new year, new me, I am doing this, and you wake up at 4 and you go for a 1 hour jog, or, with walking in between, because I don't think anyone can go for a jog for an hour if you haven't built up your endurance and your strength and your resilience. But, you went for exercise, right? So great stuff. And then day 2, you might have done it, day 3, and then by day 4, maybe even a week later, your motivation's starting to wane, or you have already stopped. Okay, most people forget about the New Year's resolutions by the end of January. So if you're still going, good for you. And your body's like, hey, dude, I usually wake up at 7. What are you doing? I cannot wake up at 4. And your body thinks that someone's attacking it. So it goes to fight or flight. And it just basically tells you that, you need to shut down and stop what you're doing. So you do. And so you don't achieve your New Year's resolutions because your body's in shock. It's telling you that you're in danger, when in reality you're trying to improve your health and improve your life, right? But you went too quickly and your body did not know what to do, okay? So the key to this, the solution for this is, if you really do want to wake up at 4 every morning and go for a jog, and 1 hour jog, do it, start slow. So leap into the goal, yes, but start slow. So if you usually wake up at 7 and you're going to make yourself wake up at 4, that's not going to work. Pull it back slowly, right? So if you wake up at 7, maybe try waking up at 6:45. Not try, do. So then start waking up at 6:45 every morning for a few mornings, and that's okay. Then pull it back 15 minutes until you get to 4. And yes, it might take a bit longer, but at least you're making progress, and that's already a celebration in itself. And also the 1 hour jog. You probably won't be able to jog for an hour if you've not been doing exercise anyway. But again, is slowly building from 5-minute jog to a 10-minute jog to a 15, and keeping on going is the baby steps which set you up to the big success that you're looking for. So so it's just really important to leap into the goal with intention, but starting slow, especially if you are starting if you are starting from 0, okay? And it's okay, and celebrate your successes along the way. If you wake up at 7 all the time before and you're starting to wake up automatically at 6, hey, that's an extra hour. That is amazing. And also the other tip is to do one thing at a time, okay? Sometimes people get a bit too enthusiastic. And I know I'm one of those people. I just want to, build my habits 10 at a time. And then I find, a week later, I'm like, oh, I know why, because I'm just was too enthusiastic. And then I just lost all motivation and yeah, and stress myself out. So it's really important to build your habits one at a time. So maybe getting up at 4 is the first thing you want to build, or going for the jog is the first thing you want to build. Whatever it is, start with one thing and then add another. Don't jump all in at once with like 10 different things that you want to do, because you're setting yourself up to fail, right? And it also, building habits, depending on what it is, easy habits, you can build it in 7 days. And then it can be up to 66 days to build a habit. It really depends on what it is, right? And most people say the median is about 21 days to build a habit. But depending on the complexity of the habit, it can take longer or shorter, okay? And the last thing that I've come up with is that your New Year's resolution or your goal actually does not align with you, okay? And I say that because I've been there and done that. So, for example, last year, after 6 months after I had my second baby, I decided that I really need to get back into exercise and get myself back into shape. So I went, okay, I need to start exercising. And my husband had started F45 about a month before I decided to get back into like a gym or something like that. So, and also we had friends who did F45 or who are still doing F45, and they had amazing results with their bodies. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do F45 too. So I joined the try it for 10 days, $10 for 10 days or something like that. I was really proud of myself in that I went for 3 days straight and I did every single exercise, even though I was dying. But the thing with F45 was it really stressed me out. For those of you who haven't done F45 before, or actually don't know what F45 is, it's like kind of like a circuit. So you're doing different exercises for a set amount of time. So you move different stations, and every time you move when you need to move to a different station, there'll be a beep. So you'll be like 45 seconds and it'll be beep, and then you'll do a rest, and they'll beep, and then you move to the next station. So it's just this continuous beeping for 45 minutes, right? And trying to figure out what the exercises are at each station. So after 3 days, I was like, I feel more stressed than before. And next to F45 is a yoga studio. And I love yoga. I've always done yoga on and off for many years. And hot yoga was something that I really loved and got into. So the next door was hot yoga and hot Pilates. So okay, they had a 1 month tryout as well. So I decided to ditch F45 and go with my hot yoga and hot Pilates. And it's been more than a year and I'm still doing it because it aligns with my soul, right? So it's really important to know whether you're doing your New Year's resolution, or you set this goal or set this New Year's resolution because it's something you want to do, or it's something that other people want you to do, or you see other people do, so you think it's a good idea for you to do, right? So that's the third reason why I think New Year's resolutions or goals don't work. So it's really finding what aligns with you. You may not be a jogger, like the example that I gave before. You might be a yogi. For me, the thought of jogging makes me sick right now. Maybe I will be a jogger later on, but right now it does not align with me. So I would not be going to set my New Year's resolution to be jogging 1 hour a day, right? So, and it might be that I up my yoga or up my meditation practices, but it won't be jogging. So really find what aligns with you, okay? So today what I want you to get out of this is, if you have set a New Year's resolution or you've set a goal for the new year, no matter which stage you're at, whether you haven't actually set anything, whether you've not started, you've stopped, your motivation is waning, or you're still all gung-ho, ask yourself this: why are you doing this? Why? Okay? And that kind of ties in with the doesn't align with you. So you need to really know why you're doing it. Is it something that you really want to do? Am I doing this because I want to do it, or because society tells me it's good for me, or is it because I want to fit into society because everyone else is doing it? Okay. And if it is something that aligns with you, okay, what are the steps that I need to take to actually really achieve this resolution or goal? Okay. Break it down. Just even if you sit there for 5-10 minutes. Okay. So weight loss is a common New Year's resolution. Okay, what is it that I want to do for weight loss? What aligns with me? Okay, what are the small steps that I can take? Do I do intermittent fasting twice a week, right? Or do I cut out dinner twice a week? Or do I just eat healthier, eat more veggies and less meat? What is it that you want to do? Or do I go to the gym 5 times a week? Really lay it out, okay? And the last thing is keep going. Take action and keep going so that you can achieve your New Year's resolution and your goal, okay? You will become a newer version of you, an updated version of you, but you're not a new you because you are still the old you. Okay, so that is all from me for today. Signing off now. I hope you enjoyed the first solo episode. And as always, I love you, I believe in you, and remember to spread love, joy, and kindness wherever you go. See you next episode.